In 1935, 4 years after James Whale's Frankenstein shocked audiences around the world, the director came up with a sequel, Bride of Frankenstein. The opening scene took place in a Georgian living room where Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, author of Frankenstein, a modern Prometheus, succumbs to the demands of her husband Percy and Lord Byron to provide them with a sequel. Mary was played by the formidable Elsa Lanchester, who also took the role of the eponymous bride, who proves so shocking to the unfortunate monster that he goes on another rampage. Lanchester was, as far as I know, the first actor to portray Mary Shelley on screen, but she was followed in 1986 by Natasha Richardson, who played the author in Ken Russell's Gothic, and now by Elle Fanning in a new film titled simply Mary Shelley. We first encounter 16-year-old Mary as the daughter of a struggling London bookshop proprietor named William Godwin, Stephen Delane. Her mother died soon after Mary was born, and she has an uncomfortable relationship with her stepmother, Joanne Froggatt, but she's devoted to Claire Bell Powley, her stepsister. On a trip to Scotland, Mary encounters the young poet, Percy Bysshe Shelley, Douglas Booth, and falls in love with him, unaware at first that, though he's only 21, he is married and the father of a daughter. Soon after she returns to London, Shelley follows her and is taken on as an apprentice by Godwin. Eventually the couple elope, and Claire joins them in what becomes a ménage à trois. Inevitably, all three wind up at the Geneva chateau belonging to the wildly eccentric Lord Byron, Tom Sturridge, along with Dr. Polidori, Ben Hardy. It's during one of these sessions that Byron challenges his guests to write a ghost story, and Mary, now aged 18 and thoroughly disillusioned by the monstrous men in her life, writes the book that would make her famous for generations to come. Writing the book was one thing. Getting it published under her own name at the time when women writers were strongly discouraged proved to be something else entirely.
Curious subject matter for a young lady.
Are you suggesting the work belongs to Mr. Shelley? It is my story.
Mary must have been a remarkable young woman, willing to overthrow the social customs and mores of the time, to live in sin with her married lover, and though always living on the edge of poverty, to travel and hold her own with some of the most celebrated men of the era. One of the fascinating things about this film is that it was directed by a Saudi woman, Haifaa Al-Mansour, who in 2012 made Wajda, which was the first feature film ever made in Saudi Arabia. And Al-Mansour, who studied film in Australia, is clearly a remarkable woman as well. Though the film lacks a sense of just how much of a trailblazer Mary really was, it's generally pretty impressive, and Fanning, an American, gets her English accent pretty right. Most of all, the film is a tribute to its brave and uncompromising women, Mary Shelley and Al-Mansour. I'm giving it 3.5 stars.